So we are out here at the B&O Railroad Museum station platform, panning around. If you look way back there, you can see I'll zoom in here, chassis locomotive. Not sure if that's what they'll be using today.
Have your attention. The 11:30 train ride will begin boarding shortly on platform 2. The 11:30 train ride will begin boarding shortly on platform 2, located in the backyard. Please have your tickets ready. As a reminder, there are no restrooms on the train. All aboard the 11:30 train ride.
Alright, so they called for boarding, so we're going to get on our train here. Alright, so we're boarding our train. You'll notice that they're using an EOT device on the train, or Fred as most people will call it. This is the Mile 1 Express at the Railroad Museum that we're getting on. So we decided to ride in a first class car, and so we can see the locomotive is hooked directly to the first class. It seems to be the observation car. Looks like we are hooked up to a CSX locomotive. Looking out the rail yard here. There's a Western Maryland with a looks like an electrical component of some sort. Forgive me if I don't know what that is. And then we're out here at the B&O switcher here. Looks like it might be an Alco switcher. So we are on our way.
I heard the whistle. Whistle, yeah. Beep beep. Beep beep. You're right.
Please remain in your seats while the train is moving. While we only travel at 5 miles an hour, we want to ensure that all visitors safely return to the roundhouse. Thank you.
To the north, please note a large concrete structure. It was built as a freight car repair shed in 1919. During the Civil War, this happened. That's right, boy, you were riding along. This right of way you are riding along today is one of the most historically significant parts of the B&O Railroad Museum.
We are so excited to have you on board today. For the health and safety of our visitors and staff, we ask that you practice safe social distancing for the duration of our train ride and wear your face mask at all times. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for visiting the
Thank you.
Can I get you anything to drink?
Oh, no, I'm good, thank you.
The museum holds the most important, comprehensive, and historic American railroad collection in the world. This well as the largest collection of Civil War locomotives and rolling stock in America. In order to enjoy your ride with us today, please
On first
remain
class,
seated.
you get yourself,
Cell phone.
let's see if I can get this.
For loud
First
conversation.
class, you get snacks.
Sit back,
Yay.
relax, and enjoy your trip on the Mile 1 Express as we head west. You are riding in a vintage lightweight passenger coach built in the 1940s by the Bud Company of Troy, Michigan.
Trying to open
Apparel
this bag.
Rail Commuter Service Bag.
Sorry, but I'm eating my chips. I'm hungry.
Donated these cars to the museum for its rail operations and train ride. If you were a passenger on these tracks during the time of the Civil War, you would have been riding in wooden coach cars with plush velvet seats. It would have to be built here when the facility was known as the Montclair Shops and Yards. If you were to look out the window, you would see a huge lumber yard and more than a dozen large industrial buildings. The only current museum building that existed in 1861 was Montclair Station, which was built in the 1850s. The Baltimore and Ohio Railroad Museum is located on 40 acres of land, once part of the B&O Railroad's Montclair shops. The B&O established the shops in 1829, and they are the oldest continuously operated railroad facility in the world. The B&O Railroad received its name from its point of origin, Baltimore, and its intended destination, the Ohio River Valley. It was the first operating public railroad in the Western Hemisphere, and the first long-distance railroad conceived in the world. The railroad was chartered in 1827 and began service in 1830. The B&O reached the Ohio River at Wheeling, Virginia on
thank you,
Christmas
yes.
Eve,
Thanks a lot.
1852, a distance of 379 miles. The Montclair Shops
While
and
we only
Yards.
travel at 5 miles an hour, we want to ensure that all visitors safely return to the roundhouse. Thank you.
To the north, please note a large concrete structure. It was built as a freight car repair shed in 1919. During the Civil War, this area would have been home to several engine houses where locomotives were maintained and prepared for service. This was done because early generation steam locomotives were explosion risks, and this area was far enough away from the primary train yard that the other shop facilities were out of harm's way in case of disaster. This area would have also been home to a watering station for the steam locomotives, and several pens where livestock would be kept before they were shipped to market. So, this right of way you are riding.
We're so excited.
Big what? Big boy. Big what? You want to look out that side? We can look out that side. We have to go over together. Want to go over? Up and down. Up and down. I totally agree. Up and down. Mama's gonna hold these though, because Mama doesn't trust you. Don't know what happened. No.
Sorry for a shaky video, but it is, they are on a train. This is the B&O Railroad Museum Mile 1 Express. The Mile 1 Express is what we're on.
What's out there? What's out there? Trees, you're right. Trees. That is correct.
Hey, if I could have everybody's attention, please, just for a couple of moments. I have several announcements on behalf of the director of the B&O Railroad Museum. As we left the museum, some of you may have noticed, and you can notice when we're headed back in, that on the parking lot on that side of the train, we've got a big parking lot just before the museum, and you might have noticed some youngsters working with their dirt bikes. The B&O has allowed the group B360 to use our back lot on weekends throughout the summer. B360 is an organization established to teach dirt bike riders in Baltimore engineering through the operation and repair of their dirt bikes, but most importantly to teach them dirt bike safety. B360 is the official diversion program for Baltimore City, and the museum is happy to help support its community neighbors by providing this space. Next announcement. Thomas the Tank Engine is returning to the B&O Railroad Museum after being gone last year. We're gonna have Thomas here with us 2 weekends in 2 weeks, May 14 to 16 and May 21 to 23. If your child has been good this past year staying inside, please consider bringing him or her to the museum for a day of safe family fun. All activities will be outside and socially distanced. Please purchase your tickets at our gift shop today if you want to consider doing this. And a final announcement, in 2027, just a few years from now, the B&O Railroad will be celebrating its 200th anniversary. The railroad was chartered as the first commercial railroad in 1827. The museum is planning national and local events to celebrate this amazing milestone and technological innovation that Baltimore and Maryland gave to the world. And by the way, I'm going to add something on my own. The B&O Railroad was cutting edge technology at the time, and some of you may have heard of somebody named Johns Hopkins. Johns Hopkins was one of the significant investors in the railroad, and based on his very wise investment, we now have the Johns Hopkins University, not a really good school, and we now have Johns Hopkins Hospital, which is kind of a pretty good hospital. So anyway, just one of many, many wise investors. So thank you very much. Thank you for coming out.
Want to see Carmen?
Harry, this is the horse. Come.
So the Mile High Express we rode today was actually double-headed. It's actually hard to see the other locomotive back there. Looks like it says 6944. That looks to be a GP30 because that has a distinctive look. Can't mistake a GP30. And then we have CSX number 1507. That seems to be MU'd with it. So just wanted to share that.